Well, Matthew, the mayor of Springfield, said this week, and by the way, he's a Republican, that a visit from Trump would burden the city's already strained resources. Last hour, I spoke with a pastor from Springfield, and this is what he told me.
The truth is, if he were to retract his story, everything would calm down. And I think he has great influence on some of the people who have come to our community to do harm. And I know they respect him. And if he would just ask them to go home, that would be a great help.
If he would just retract his story, speaking of Donald Trump, the pastor also told me there have been more bomb threats yet today. But is there any amount of pressure, do you think, on Donald Trump to do that or not to visit in the first place?
I mean, there's a tremendous amount of pressure, but I don't think it will have any influence because Donald Trump doesn't seem to care. I mean, he's already been told numerous times that this whole story is a lie. He's been told by officials in Springfield. He's been told by the governor, who's a Republican, to stop it. This is all a lie. Quit doing this. You're endangering people's lives. And he and his vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, continue to do it and continue to fan the flames and to continue to put people's lives at risk in this town over a total lie that's been pushed and pushed and pushed by him. So I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares what happens to that community. I don't think he cares what happens to those people there. He's doing whatever he thinks serves his best interest in a political campaign, in a political environment, which is, in my view, absolutely deplorable that you would do this knowing it's a lie, and you've been told it's a lie, and you continue to do it.
You know, Springfield has gotten the lion's share, obviously, of attention, but Aurora, Colorado is also grappling with misinformation. The Aurora Sentinel editorial board says this, quote, "Crucial facts about Venezuelan gang claims in Aurora can't come from Trump. They say it's a lie created and propelled by Republican extremists to advance an anti-immigrant and white nationalist agenda in hopes of swaying scared or distracted voters with what amounts to domestic terrorism." But I mean, so here you have two people in these two communities essentially talking about the power of Donald Trump in both a negative and potentially calming way. But in the meantime, what's a local official to do? It's already costing Springfield millions of dollars, money they don't have.
I mean, yeah, it's incredibly upsetting, I think, to anybody, those people in those communities and anybody around the country. I mean, Chris, as you know, we've seen this pattern in our history of immigrant groups being targeted and then immigrant groups being hurt and violence being aimed at immigrant groups by people fanning the flames of sort of white nationalism. It happened to Asian Americans. It happened to my ancestors, Irish Americans. It happened to German Americans. It happened to Italian Americans. It happened to Jewish Americans. It happened to Latino Americans. It's happened throughout our history. And you would think, Chris, that we've gotten to the 21st century that we no longer do this. But for some reason, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance cannot seem to help themselves and continue to sort of divide America. And in areas of the country that are Republican, they don't even politically care about that. They're trying to serve a broader personal purpose, which is their own political power.
Matthew Dowd, thanks for coming on the show. As always, my friend, appreciate it.